Welcome to Focus on B, the video series where I spent about 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on. This is Hexen 2, the sequel to the very confusing game that was Hexen 1. So you think for the sequel they've streamlined things and made it a little bit more approachable? No. Funny joke. They haven't. They've actually made it even more confusing. Fortunately, I've practiced these early levels, so I should be able to play relatively competently, at least up to a certain point. So, Hexen 2, Quake Engine. You know what I like about both Hexen games, actually? The fact that they are a demonstration of taking an engine that was already showing its age a little bit and taking it to a logical extreme. So with Hexen 1 in 1995, so that's 2 years after the original Doom, they took the Doom engine and made this giant sprawling fantasy RPG shooter. Combat game, even though there was Melee too. Yeah, you get the idea. And I thought that was really cool because it's an engine that I don't think id Software ever really intended for you to do it that way, but they did. Like Raven were like, fuck it, we're gonna make a game like this, and it worked. Even though it was confusing as shit, but like technically it worked. And the same thing's happening here. So they took the engine for Quake, which is very much a simple shooter, all things considered, and made this absolute just what the fuck do I do kind of game. But unlike Quake, I feel like aesthetically this has actually held up really well. I mean, I've always been a fan of the fantasy look, which is weird because I'm not that big of a fan of fantasy games, but I do like games that look like fantasy. It just so happens that a lot of fantasy games will not overlap with my preferred genres. So, you know, I like shooters and racing games. You're not going to see a lot of fantasy-inspired racing games, now are you? You know what I mean? Now, fortunately, you do get these little messages here to let you know, oh, it's the mill. We don't need to go there right now, though. We need to get the key for the mill, actually. So yeah, I think the art design is just really fucking good in this game. Really solid. The texture work still looks, it's not super high res, but it still looks fairly decent. Can I disable the texture filtering though? Let me see. Open G. Oh yes. Thank you. Oh yes. Now that is how a game is supposed to look. That lava can't hurt you, by the way. I know this because later on we're gonna step in it. Well, assuming that I played a game for long enough to have to step into it. You know what I just realized, by the way? This game kind of predated Fear. No, it doesn't have slow-mo, but look, health packs. Like, it's health packs that you carry on you. Just like in Fear. I'm sure there's other shooters that do that, I'm just not super familiar. Yes, I see. This game has puzzles. You need the bone dust of Lorik to complete the spell and create the potion of mithril transmutation. Puzzles. Oh my god, where to begin? So, you, at first, the puzzles really aren't that confusing. You generally have a good sense of where to go just based on the level design. But I've heard absolute nightmare stories about later on in this game. Because I haven't played very much of this game. That is because I would often get stuck. Now, internet walkthroughs help. But there comes a point when you just kind of get frustrated and you don't want to have to keep looking at your second monitor just thinking, okay, what the fuck do I do now? I really hate how you can't avoid fall damage there, by the way. And, you know, here's the funny thing. There's this constant sort of back and forth in the shooter community, especially, even just in general, even in my own head. The fact that if a game is too linear, it's like, oh, it's a boring linear shooter. If a game is not linear at all, then it's, oh, it's too confusing. It's so hard to get that balance. So few games really find that balance just right. I think there's a reason why the Doom games and Quake and even the Half-Life series was able to appeal to so many people and do so well, whereas you don't see many people clamoring for a Hexen free. Now, do ya? When's Hexen free coming out, Gabe? I don't think anyone cares, because obviously Gabe invented video games and he's the only one who makes them. Duh. Anyway, so the reason why those kind of games work so well is because they are fundamentally linear. However, they have occasional moments of secrecy, like they have secrets and stuff. Here, it feels as if they designed the secrets first. They were like, how can we hide all of these different obscure things? And then, okay, shit, now we gotta string it together into a linear campaign. So the game is still linear. Every game ever is linear, obviously. Although with advancements in technology, maybe games will not be so linear anymore. Who knows? There are plenty of actually non-linear games even from like years ago, but still. Anyway, but what I mean is this game is fundamentally linear. It's just that figuring out what to do can often be, oh, we got the mill key. Yes. Jib that guy. Jibs are great in this game. The combat is actually fantastic. Let's talk about that. Funny how despite this game doesn't really have much of an emphasis on the combat because of its level design, the combat is great. I love fighting enemies in this game. They're actually quite smart. The bowmen do something really cool where if you're strafing around them and they're preparing their shot, they won't just shoot whenever. They wait for you to stop moving. And that's when they take aim and shoot. They don't just randomly, like, blindly shoot constantly. You know, I like that. I think that's actually quite smart. And we're out of here. We got another sword for some reason. It's the exact same one. And now this thing right here. Okay, well, we got to go and destroy that trebuchet. Die. Kill him. And kill him too. I picked the guy who doesn't get a projectile weapon because that was a very good idea. Also, yeah, multiple character classes. Now, this is pretty common in multiplayer games, but there's not that many single-player first-person shooters that do this, even to this day. Well, no, some do. Usually some that pay tribute to games like this. Does a Medieval do that? I'm not sure. I haven't played a Medieval, to be honest. I haven't seen many. I haven't watched a review of it in a while. But anyway, maybe I should check that game out, because it seems to be kind of like Heretic, but not confused by Hitler. Not confused. Not designed by Hitler to be confusing. You get what I mean? The door is barred. Yeah, I know. Fuck, where was I? Oh, yeah, the concept of multiple playable characters is kind of cool because they do play a little bit differently. See, this guy has only melee weapons, whereas the others, well, actually, no, most of the rest of the characters will just have, they'll just have their melee and projectile. Like the fallback melee, if you run out of mana, yes, this game has mana. The way it works is you essentially have universal ammo because of the mana system. It's actually a pretty cool way to do it. I think... What was it? Power Slave Exhumed did something sort of similar. Ah, shit, I just realized something. Yeah, we need to go find the bones of this guy. See, what I have to do at this point is gotta go find some dude's bones. I think they're over here. This is a really cool little Half-Life-esque moment, even though this is before Half-Life. You gotta push the thing. There you go. And now you can do some parkour. I like that a lot, actually. Let's see if I can find the bones here. They should be... I'm just gonna fucking no-clip if I have to, because... this is a source port that I'm playing on. If you actually get the game on Steam, it doesn't work out the box, which is just the dumbest thing in the world. You gotta get a source port in order for this to actually work. I think the GOG release does exactly that. But anyway, yeah, so what I could do is I could just type in no-clip, I think, and there you go. I get to do whatever the fuck I want. We're not gonna do that right now, of course. I do want to try and play the game a little more legitimately. So, where was I? I was talking about multiple classes. I can't really say I'm the kind of person who would insist on more games doing that, because something that I personally have a problem with is when a game has multiple characters that are treated equally, as in they can go through the whole campaign just the same. It's not as if, you got multiple playable characters in a Sonic game where everyone has their own levels. No, I mean, they just behave the same way. They just happen to have different abilities. Well... I ask myself, and this is a really specific thing, I end up asking myself, which one of these is the one that received the most playtesting? That's the question. Which character is the true character for this game? Who am I supposed to be playing as? Because, honestly, I don't know. Sometimes I feel as if maybe I picked the wrong character. Maybe I should play as some other character and the game will actually be the way it's supposed to be or something like that. I'm not sure why I'm like that, but... it's a concern I have because it is genuinely a factor, I imagine, when designing games. Like, okay, how do we make this work well with all of these different characters? That's about it when it comes to the multiple character system here. Now, as for... what else is there to talk about? You know what? Let's talk about the expansion pack. So this game received an expansion pack, which you can't get on Steam, which is annoying as fuck, so you gotta find it through different ways, so wink wink. Which is weird because the original Hexen expansion is on Steam, but whatever. And as I suspected, as it always happens, with me at least, with shooters especially, I've been having a much easier time playing through the expansion as opposed to the base game. I can't believe I still haven't found the bones. Like, where do you find them? Oh, because to be fair, I never hit the switch. You could use these as teleporters. Maybe this is where you find the bones. I keep forgetting, man. And I think there's a few reasons as to why. Well, the main one is because expansions are a lot shorter. I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this in my opposing force video. But yeah, expansion packs tend to be shorter, obviously. And so there's a higher chance that I'll complete one. But they also tend to be more focused on one particular gameplay element. I think the reason why, for example, I've actually been enjoying the expansions to Fear more than Vanilla Fear, even though Vanilla Fear is an excellent shooter, is because they're much more action focused. There's fewer scripted spooky scare sequences, which I don't really find all that enjoyable. And go figure, oh, the Tomb of Lorik, this is where I get his bones, right? Can we play Megalovania now? Come on. Yay, skeleton man. I got the skeletons. And now I gotta go back. Oh, Jesus Christ, now I gotta go all the way back. Actually, I'm not really too fond. I'm sorry, I have this weird tick where I just keep right-clicking for some reason, and it keeps popping that message up right there. But anyway, now what you gotta do is you gotta go here, to the mill. And actually, this didn't take a walkthrough for me to figure out. I figured this out on my own. Later on, though, I can imagine that's exactly what's going to be required. And I think after, you know what, let's just do it right now. So, because this is the version that includes the expansion pack, we can go new mission. Now, this right here actually includes one new character, the Demoness. You know, let's play as her. Why not? She bitch. That's funny. Let's just go into easiest difficulty, because I don't give a fuck, honestly. The cool thing about this character is projectiles. Yeah, she's the only one who has no mana projectiles. I mean, she can also collect mana, obviously. So basically, playing as the Demoness turns this into a normal first-person shooter. This is like your pistol, the starting blaster from Quake 2, essentially. And as I suspected with every fucking expansion pack, this so far has been way more straightforward and easier for me to play. I don't know if it's necessarily just the level design, but when I booted this up for the first time, I had nowhere near as many struggles trying to figure out where to go and what to do. Like, that's not to say that... Oh, look at that, I've already accidentally triggered a thing. That's cool. Now let's go ahead and... Oh, wait, hold on, I'm already here. Wait, no. Let's go through the level the way you're probably supposed to. I really love this medieval dungeon, like, castle aesthetic. I think visiting these sorts of places is... The aesthetic is what almost keeps me coming back to these kind of games, no matter how annoying they tend to be, level design-wise. Just because this is so cool. I find this shit, these kind of environments, so enjoyable to exist within. You know? That's why, for example, with Unreal, my favorite parts are the dungeon sort of sections of the game, with a lot of rocks and stone textures, and not so much the sci-fi bits. Although it seems that Unreal Tournament... I got the Sphere of Order, that's good. In Unreal Tournament, they focus more on the sci-fi stuff, which, you know, is cool. I like the urban environments in those games. Those are my favorite maps, the urban maps, just aesthetically speaking. I don't know, I like concrete. I like stone textures, damn it. I'm not sure why. The jibs are so freaking good, though. But yeah, as you can see, the level design here, at least, it's more conventional. I still have to look up a couple of things later on, but it's nowhere near as confusing as the vanilla game. And playing as the sorceress, as the Demoness, is really cool because you essentially get more typical first-person shooter gameplay. You don't really feel like you're playing this medieval... I mean, it is still obviously medieval because of the aesthetic, but you don't have to deal with clunky melee combat. And, you know, melee combat is one of those things just really hard to get right in first-person. Very few games get it right. And that's because it's just an inherent thing. With a gun, it's... oh, there you go. It's essentially a tool that we have in the real world. Something I've learned about video games is that we are way better at recreating the functionality of a tool that we already have in the real world, like a machine of some kind, than when it comes to than something organic. So a gun, that's so easy to get right. You just have it shoot because we know that. But when it comes to, like, for example, having a fist attack or something, like a melee attack, well, that's, in reality, the weapon is irrelevant. It's the fact that we're using our hands to do it. And despite us being human, we actually don't understand the way that we move all that well, it seems, because so many games mess it up. You know? And same thing, like, for example, there's so many games with, like, clunky controls for the character when, like, the car will be easy as hell to handle because we know what a car is. We know how cars work because we built them. Whoa, look, you see that's that one thing from Quake 1 that for some reason they repurposed in this. What if this started out as, like, a Quake, like, this particular level started out as some kind of Quake fan map and then they just worked it into this? Because the level design here is not too dissimilar to what it would be in Quake. I don't know what that did, though. That's not cool. You should tell me what that does, because now I don't know where to go. Although, hopefully this teleporter will help me figure it out. Let's get some mana. I like to actually get a weapon that I can use with the mana, though. Maybe not. Was I even supposed to come here? I don't know. Oh, okay, I definitely have not been here. Yeah, so, in typical expansion pack fashion, I'm probably going to end up finishing this first, if I finish it at all. I don't know. I don't have the kind of patience that, well, I can't say that I used to. I've never really been too patient. I get really easily frustrated with games where I don't know where to go. But I do see this being the more likely candidate for me finishing it because it just, well, for one, I can guarantee you it's going to be shorter, and so far it's just better designed. I'm not going to say it's simpler in design, it's just better in design. Can we stop pretending that complexity equals quality when it comes to level design in games? I get that, oh, back in my day, getting lost was good level design. Yeah, but it's not my day anymore, is it? I would much rather know where to go. Now, again, that's not to say that I want every game to be Call of Duty, because funnily enough, again, despite my complaints with these kind of games, I do not enjoy overly linear campaigns either. You need a good mix. That's why Turok 1 is my favorite of the Turoks, because Turok 2 was too fucking confusing, and Turok 3 is completely mindless. Oh, Watchman's Log. A strange man in flowing robes appeared near the well. Paramore, oh, Paramore, I like those guys, approached him to question his intentions and was instantly changed into a sheep. Oh, I killed that. Sorry, I killed your friend. I killed Duke. I killed Duke Nukem. Guys, I am literally Randy Pitchford. I killed Duke Nukem. Hey, now that's how you do it. See, you show me what the thing just did. And now I can go ahead and jump in here and keep going through. So, I don't know, at this point I'm just going to start rambling again like I always do. The combat's really good. Look at this. If I keep circling around him, he doesn't just blindly fire. He waits for me to sit still. Oh, there you go. See, he thought that, okay, maybe it's not that elaborate, but still. Jib, there you go. So it's funny how this game that obviously tries to de-emphasize the combat actually has really good combat. I wonder if maybe this game was just more focused on, maybe I should just play a medieval at this point. There's so many, like, boomer shooters nowadays that are basically just this, but with better level design. The Duke's Keep. Ah, hell yeah, time to go kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of ass. Where the hell am I going? Yeah, so this is the bit where you have to enchant a trebuchet in order to break through a magical barrier, and oh my fucking god. It's not that confusing, though. I like exploring medieval castles, what can I say? And I think that's gonna, let's just cut it right here before I just continue on my stupid tirades. That's gonna do it for this episode of Focus on B, the video series where I spend about 20 or so minutes, yeah, 18 in this case, 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on. I don't know how much I'm gonna play of this, but this has been Hexen 2 1997 PC.